The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. The room's populating quickly. I like to start on time, but what we'll do is we'll give everyone a few more seconds to jump in. I can see a lot of people are jumping in. So first of all, welcome. Happy Saturday morning. I think this is primarily going to be attended by those in Canada and the United States. We probably don't have too many people overseas as it's the middle of the night. Um, so welcome. My name is John Kinnear. If you haven't had a chance to meet me yet, your life is the poorer for it. But I know that we'll have an opportunity to spend some time together very, very soon. And I'm very much looking forward to meeting you all face to face. So we're going to talk today a little bit about this 3TN offering. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to get things rolling for you so that 2018 can be a banner cryptocurrency year for you. So we're still filling up. We'll give things maybe another minute or so. Now let's see if I can see questions. Chat entry. Let's see if you guys don't mind, if you're not familiar with GoToWebinars. I think in the future I'll use Zoom for this because Zoom is really easy for you to ask questions, really easy for me to respond to those questions while we're presenting. This is my fallback because I can put 10,000 people into this, and it's a really high quality, expensive, but a high quality platform for presenting. Entire audience. So can you see my question? So please let me know, type in here if you can see the question, because obviously part of training is being able to answer those questions and communicate back and forth. So someone type something in there and let me know. Okay, well, we're still filling up, so we'll give this maybe just 1 more minute, 2 more minutes before we dive into things. And there we go. Perfect. I'm seeing people type questions in or messages in. That's fantastic. Okay, good. All right. So also make sure you let your upline, perfect. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Make sure you let your upline leaders know if you're interested in live events. So just I'll tell you a tiny bit about myself. I'm going to leave that window open so I can see your comments. So I basically I got involved in network marketing as a kid. My background is commercial photography, and I migrated into marketing from photography when I was really, really young. And I went and studied in the U.S. and came back to Canada and opened a business. And then I had a friend that got involved in network marketing. I was, my mid 20s, and I saw he was just killing it. He was making a lot of money, and it was really just my ego. I said, man, if he can make that kind of cash, I can do that too. And so I remember asking my father, my dad, because he had his own business, and so I just assumed that business ownership was what you needed to do if you wanted to get ahead. How wrong I was. And so I said, what's network marketing? And I remember this. I don't remember like yesterday because it was a lot of yesterdays ago, but I remember this pretty clearly. He pulled me aside rather aggressively, and he said, John, network marketing is for a business for people who don't have enough money to start a real business. That was his definition of network marketing. And so let's see, I'm just going to put this on quiet. Do not disturb. And so that was my exposure to network marketing. And I said that that I was probably going to pursue it anyway. The reason my dad was so adversarial is that my retail business, my studio, was 7 years old, 6 years old at the time. And so I'd gone through, that 5 year sort of first 5 years in retail where 85% of them they just don't make it. I was the most expensive studio in town. I really worked hard to hone my craft, and I was able to charge for it. And so he just thought I was insane to even jeopardize that remotely. Anyway, needless to say, I did get involved, and 12 months later, I was making about 20 grand a month in a network marketing, product-based network marketing company. Now, obviously not in my chosen profession of photography, but I loved the cash flow. What's interesting though is that 17 years ago, I stopped building that project. And I've been generating a solid 5-figure income every single month for the last 17 years, even though I haven't been actively involved. I still use those products and I still love them, but that's a lot of money. That's like, probably around $4 million that I've earned without even mentioning essentially the name of that company. And that's what I want to use as a theme, because that's what I want to help you create in this space. One of the things that I find very interesting about 3TN is it has kind of that really solid company feel, even though it's in the digital or cryptocurrency space. There's so many transient projects that are now in the network marketing sphere, and there's reasons for that. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of background information, and it's going to help you when you're communicating with other people. One of the things you need to understand is that platforms themselves have become really inexpensive. Everything's been templated. And so if you wanted to posture as though you're a big company, you could do it for like hundreds of dollars. It's dirt cheap. And so you really have to make sure you vet projects properly, because while most things look like garbage, it's easy to make something look really sharp. And so that's why it even as a marketing person, it perplexes me even more when you have projects that look like garbage, because there's just no reason for it. And so there's a lot of these programs that are paying you ROIs on your money that say they're performing a certain task that maybe are, maybe aren't. I don't know. One of the reasons that I decided to transition out of what I was doing last year and into this, and last year what I was doing worked really well. Last year was my introduction to cryptocurrencies. So if you're in the audience now and this is all new to you, listen, it was new to me 12 months ago. So I wasn't involved in anything in the cryptocurrency space until April of last year. And basically May, June, July, August, September. So those 6 months I made over 200 BTC, which is around $3 million Canadian. So it can happen very fast. And I want you to be prepared for that. One of the things that happened to me when I first got involved in network marketing, and I started to earn much more quickly than I did as a business owner, was I had to become comfortable with that as a person. And I don't know if you've heard these terms like self-sabotage before, but it's a real thing. And I actually went through it. I remember actually consciously doing things to sabotage my business. And I don't know why that was. Maybe you say, I don't think that I was, I didn't feel like I deserved to be earning so much money when all of my friends, were working so hard to make what they were making. And I'm sure that there's relevant arguments there. I just want you to be conscious of those things, because you may very well find yourself in a similar position. So last year came and I had a lot of success quickly. It was no big deal, because this has been part of the process, part of my life for a number of years now. But in the beginning, boy, it threw me for a loop, and I found myself doing things, and I would reflect on some of the things I did and go, what the heck was I doing? What was I thinking? Well, this is just part of that process when you're transitioning from one of many that works so hard just to get by, to really opening up the possibilities of earning millions of dollars. So if that's something you're not going to have an issue with, I'm very, very happy for you. Many of you will have an issue with it. Just be aware of it. Being aware of it is half the battle. Okay. So let's get into the specifics about this particular 3TN product and how to build this platform. We're going to talk mostly about the actual sharing of this, because it was actually 226.5 BTC that I made last year. And the platform that I did it on was a trading platform, but it was an automated trading platform. And so where I know that many of you have had USI experience, and USI is a well-run project with some solid management. Unfortunately, what started happening, of course, is the Securities and Exchange Commission. We know, even though digital assets aren't meant to be viewed the same way, and a lot of companies were building their business model around the fact that securities, whether it's the FCA in Europe or the SEC in the United States, we're not supposed to be viewing them the same way they would view fiat currency, forex, etc. The reality, of course, is I guess someone forgot to tell some of these government agencies, and they're reviewing them exactly the same way, and they're holding these companies to the same set of criteria that they would hold a forex company to. The project that I was building by those standards is also not compliant, but that's not the reason that I quit. The reason that I quit was there was a lot of fees and taxes, and they were nickel and diming the new members that weren't earning a lot. So it was really difficult if you weren't bringing a lot of money in the beginning to pull a lot of money out. And I just felt like if you're undermining the new people in a project or the small earners in a project, well, then you're really destroying the whole project. And I just felt like it was short-sighted, and I no longer wanted to endorse that project. However, the 226.5 BTC that I did pull out of it, about 95% of that came from the compensation model. So it didn't come from trading. As you could imagine, you're going to have to throw a lot of money into trading to make millions of dollars in a single year in trading. That's just the mathematics of it. What's so fantastic about this particular project is if you compare this to a percentage a day type of a project. For example, a percent a day for 31 days is 31%, even though we know most of these programs pay on about a 20-day month. Well, look what happened to us statistically. By the way, if there's any guests here, I should have mentioned this in the very beginning. This is a training on understanding the 3TN platform and how to share and use this 3TN platform. This is not a presentation. So if a friend brought you here for a presentation, I apologize almost in advance. But this is great for you. You're going to have an opportunity to actually see behind the curtains, the real guts of this project, to help you with your vetting and decide if you want to move forward. So I'm just going to operate on the assumption that you're all members already. What's remarkable about this platform is the product itself, and we want to talk about the product that I'm primarily talking about is trading. So our trading platform is actually being run by individuals literally with 3 decades of experience. So that's the first thing. If you go into your product and you look at Forex, some of those Forex numbers, oh boy, are they generating some amazing results. In fact, one of the reasons that we have an exclusive contract with this American-based company is that Ron, our COO, has been using their Forex product for quite a number of years and doing extremely well with it. If you go back and you look at some of the statistical numbers since the beginning of the summer, I think it's the Euro USD. Troy, is that right? Euro USD, and you followed all those signals over the last several months, you'd be sitting somewhere, I think Troy did the math, 14,000 pips. Now, if you're not familiar with Forex, a pip, the value of a pip depends on how much you've got in the game, how much skin you've got in the game. But if you were trading a full lot, around maybe $10,000 to $20,000 in your account, that 14,000 pips over the summer would have made you about $140,000, $10 a pip. So what's important for you to understand is this. I talked to you about 5 minutes ago about the 22-year run that I've had with the product-based MLM company. And I said I was looking to create the same thing again here. Well, one of the first things that we need to make sure is that we're compliant in a regulatory fashion. You don't want to build a large network of a legitimate product only to have the rug pulled out from under your feet. So that's the first thing that I was doing when I was vetting this. I've only been actively involved in this for 3 weeks. And so one of the first things that I started doing was helping the company, working on them with marketing to streamline that process. One of the reasons I had direct access to the CEO, the COO, and the other corporate team on a daily basis. And I was really wanting to make sure that they were personality types and character integrity that I wanted to work with. Because again, if you're not moving into a project with long-term intentions, well, what the hell are you doing? There's nothing less fun. That's not true. There's less fun things, but building a network, building a program over and over and over every year, that's not fun. That's work, and it's not rewarding work. Building a platform that can pay you for decades, that's a lot of fun. So when it comes to the product itself, we talked about management, we've talked about longevity, we've talked about compliance. When we talk about the product itself, 4 or 5 years into the crypto space, these Forex guys. Now, these Forex guys statistically in the last 23 years are 13% above the average, the S&P 500. So these guys know what they're doing as far as trading goes. Now, the type of trading that they're using is deliberately designed to make this whole entity easier for us. This is trend-based trading. They're not trying to scalp. They're not trying to do things that require a lot of attention or a lot of signals. They're trend-based trading in the belly of the trade. Now, what that means is you may see Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin start to move, but you may not receive a signal yet by 3TN. That's not a mistake, and it's not an oversight. It's deliberate. A lot of times you'll see movement one way or another and then a quick retracement. Well, they're avoiding us the pain, A, of having to check our accounts multiple times a day, and B, getting caught up in some of those quick retracements. So we're focusing in the belly of the trade where the majority of the profit is. Sure, we're leaving a little bit of profit on the tops and the bottoms, but that's fine because we're creating a product that's easy to use, easy for anyone to use, and that's duplicatable. That's where I want to be focused, okay? I don't want to be a day trader. I don't want to be parked in front of my computer for hours at a time. I have tons of other fun things to do. So this is really how I market this. So what I want to do is help you not only understand the product, this trading product, but also how you're going to discuss this with your friends, because there are ways that you can share really good information in a really bad way and no one's interested. There's also ways that you can share really bad information in a really good way and everyone's interested. So this is where marketing really starts to play a key role in the success of you starting to build out a rewards plan for yourself. So in what I'll do in subsequent trainings, we're going to touch a little bit on everything for today, just to give you a really broad 30,000 foot view. But what I'll do for you is I'll start breaking down. We've already talked about, I think, 4 subjects. I'm going to start breaking these things down in much more detail, and we're really going to get analytical on a lot of them so that you're going to become really well versed in all of these different subsets of information. And what that does for you is you're going to start having more success in sharing just because of your familiarity. The impression you're going to give people when you talk to them is you really know what you're talking about. That instills confidence. People want to align themselves with you and your project. Okay? So on to the trading itself. We're going to focus this year, probably all of us are going to be focusing in the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and then more as they start to become available. With our trading, and then with our other primary product you see on the screen, product number 4, which is the ICO product. So a lot of you are going to make a lot of money from ICO and DFY ICO. And when I mean a lot, we're going to have members that make $1 million this year. We're probably going to have members that do better than that even. And I'll tell you, anyone on this call could be numbered amongst that group. And the reason I say that is there's so many explosive opportunities in the crypto space. I've never, ever been able to say something like that in a new company training call before. It's impossible to say those types of things. But we're actually talking about a product in an environment that's so potent. I mean, we're really talking about a global transition from paper money to digital money. That's really what we're talking about. And so there is, as this infrastructure is continually getting refined, the blockchain infrastructure, the Ethereum blockchain, more and more legitimate technologies, legitimate business people are creating tokens to live on the Ethereum and Bitcoin blockchain. More services. Think of this as we're seeing a whole new generational stock market. Old companies like GE and Westinghouse, when they needed to raise capital, what do? They basically took that company public and stocks were available for the public. That's not the way things are being done anymore. What's being happening now is new technology is being introduced onto the blockchain, and tokens are how you get into the game. So we're starting to already see some very, very high caliber offerings become available. In fact, you all know statistically, and if you're looking, maybe you are looking at this for the first time, I'll share this with you. Statistically, the first 7 significant ICO picks that 3TN offered their membership, if you had thrown just $300 in each one of them, 300 times 7 picks, that's $2,100 in capital. That would have been USD capital, 48,000 plus. That's over the first 5 weeks alone. So, some amazing possibilities. A friend of mine in Europe just spent $6,000 getting in really early on a very strong pick that went up 70 times. 70 times. So he's sitting at almost $500,000, and it took a month for that to happen, a month and a half. These are the type of opportunities that they're not commonplace, but they're going to happen over and over and over again during 2018. So it's important that you understand that these opportunities are available to absolutely anyone. Timing is critical in all sorts of things. Timing is critical in business. It's entirely possible for people to throw a few $1,000s at a stock and have the same type of results happen. So these things happen, and they're going to be happening to you if you're in the game, and you're here because you want to be in the game. So how then, once we start wrapping our heads around the 3TN product offering, especially the trading and the ICO picks, how then do we begin to share? Well, one of the things that when I'm sharing this, the mining, I'll go back to this slide. Sorry. The mining is part of the conversation for me, primarily because the mining is just to make that entry point for our members a little bit easier. All I'm saying, and I can say this because I'm not the company, you can say this because you're not the company, we can't guarantee returns from mining. We can't legally do that because then we're selling darn it. What's the term? We're selling, we're selling an asset. So basically what I'm telling my friends is the mining, first of all, it's real mining in a real location, and the mining is basically going to get them their entry point, whether it's $500 or $1,000, $500 or $1,000. It's going to get them that money back, maybe 2 to 3 times, maybe more, depending on what Bitcoin does during the next 3 years, which is how long your mining contract is. So it makes that point of entry really easy for you. The other thing that's important with the 500 or the 1,000 is the 3TN tokens that you're receiving as well. In fact, why don't we just blast down to that slide? And I'll show you on this. Here we go. We have a look at these specifics. So these tokens, these coins that you're receiving, $5,000 or $15,000, depending on how you get involved. First of all, how we differentiate these 3 packages. The biggest differentiator for me when I'm talking to people is mining. $500 and $1,000, I have access to mining. $148, I don't. The other thing, of course, is the big jump from 500 tokens to 5,000 tokens, even though I'm only spending another $350, because there is specific plans to have a 3TN exchange and to have these 3T coins on other exchanges. So what if that coin only went to 15 cents? Well, 5,000 of those coins at 15 cents is a lot more than I paid to join. 15,000 coins at 15 cents is a lot more than I paid to join. In addition to that, I'm getting the mining terahash, and so that's going to get that sign up back for me right away. So this is really important that we understand. Then the 250 business points versus 500 business points to get in, those are also things you want to take advantage of. And then when you're explaining the subscription, now we transitioned away from subscriptions in network marketing. And we did that for a number of years. And what's actually starting to happen, interestingly enough, is the really strong projects with real product offerings are able to migrate back to subscriptions. Why should you like subscriptions? Well, when I was able to walk away from my USANA business 17 years ago and still pull millions of dollars out of it, that's a subscription-based project. I get paid every single month because of those subscriptions. And you will get paid every single month because of these subscriptions. First key point, when you're talking to someone who does have experience in network marketing, the point to value ratio in the subscriptions is 1 to 1. So it's 119 points within your team volume, and it's 139 points for advanced. So those are very important things for you. I'll give you an example. Here's a very simple math example, and I'm going to show you another PowerPoint to help create some clarity around this for you. In fact, I'll tell you what, this is a little advanced, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, and then I'll back up a little bit and create a little more clarity around the whole thing for you. Okay, so binary, if you're not familiar with the binary, the prefix bi simply means two, just like bicycle. Now this is what we call a 1/3, 2/3 binary. You can see this in the graphic on the right-hand side. It shows two people to one, 600 BV, 300 BV. That total unit of 900 BV pays you one cycle. One cycle is $75. So, for example, if you, with your friends, using the strategies that I'm going to share with you over the next several Saturdays, were able to successfully build a 1/3, 2/3 business, a medium-sized team, for example. Now, if you're brand new to this, don't freak out. You'd be surprised at how fast things can grow on you. Over the course of the year, for example, even as a new person, because the interest in this product is so high, if you were able, with the help of others around you, build a team of 3,000 people. That's 2,000 on one side, one on the other, 1/3, 2/3. Well, the 1,000 people on your lesser side, at a 1-to-1 point to dollar ratio, 139 points on your lesser side, that's 139,000 business volume, you would create an income source for yourself just in the binary alone of around 34,000 USD monthly. That's reoccurring. Now, why is that important? Because we already know that our product offering is not only legitimate, but highly valuable. So if the product offering is showing real value, then people are going to want to maintain those subscriptions. Then the next step for the corporate team is to make sure that it's easy for members to maintain their subscriptions. And that's why the front end of this rewards plan pays really generously in those first two bonuses. Because if you can get a friend into your project and share with a couple of friends successfully, they've already made enough that next month's subscription is covered. And the best part, they're not going to have to go load more money into a Bitcoin wallet to pay for next month's subscription. They can simply pull it out of earnings in their back office. It can all be done internally. So the idea, you can see here, we're paving a path of least resistance to make this very easy for members to get involved and very easy for members to stay involved. Why? Well, for several reasons, but one of the best reasons for you is it creates that large and healthy reoccurring income for you. Now imagine when you start making $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $34,000 just from your binary income alone every month. And imagine the ICOs you'll be able to be part of, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin that you'll start to accumulate. This is why this is so important. If you've ever been involved in network marketing before, and you kind of had a half in, half out approach to it because maybe you were a little nervous or it made you feel a little uncomfortable, I want you to just banish that. You need to be all in on this, even if your all in is only 5 hours a week. Because being all in on this project at this particular point in time during this transition from paper money to digital money can make you millions. And listen, I'm not flippant or take these type of comments lightly. This is serious stuff. You can set yourself up in the next 12 months to 24 months so you literally are finished with work and just can move on to the other things you want to do with the rest of your life. And there are very few projects in the world and very few timings that can afford those types of things for you. This happens to be one of them. So I would take this very, very seriously. So we've talked a little bit about product. As I said before, we're covering a lot of subjects right now. This is just like us going back to the gym again, and we're working all 6 body parts really lightly so we don't kill ourselves. And we're going to start digging into the meat in coming training weeks, okay? So I want to blast through this rewards plan for you, and then so you're a little bit more familiar with this, and then we'll wrap up by giving you some very simple elevator type pitches to get the ball rolling for yourself, okay? So 8 different ways that we earn within the rewards plan, starting with retail, quality, roller bonus, fast start. These first, number 2 and number 3, I'm going to spend a bit of time on because this is ways that you can put some really quick dollars into your pocket and accomplishes two things. First of all, it makes sure that your next month or several months of subscriptions are already covered. So you don't even have to worry about that. And the next thing, of course, it does is it gives you some quick cash flow to get involved in these ICOs, because we don't know when the next $1 million ICO is going to become available. And there's going to be a lot of them available this year. So let's dive right into this. Retail, obviously, now I know that many of you are successful online marketers. So you need to understand that the new site that's going to become available for you very soon, and the marketing videos and tools are going to be geared for you to create retail success. Okay, so $139, for example, would be $189 retail. So if you brought on 50 or 100 people, let's say you brought in 100 people, retail customers, well, there's 5 G's a month you're making just from your retail profits. Okay, in other words, $50 times 100 people. Sorry. Okay, so QEB, Quality Enroller Bonus. This is like there's 2 quick sponsor bonuses that you're going to benefit from. So the first one is if you start at $500 as an example, and you bring in someone at $500, that's the advanced trader level, you'll immediately put $50, 10% in your jeans. But you're also going to earn that bonus 2 generations deep as well. As your friend and their friends do the same thing, you're also going to start receiving $25 installments that are also paid up to you. If you start as a pro trader, enroll pro traders, the same thing, obviously times 2. If you start at $500 and you enroll someone at $1,000, the very, very first time you're going to get paid the 50, not the 100. So essentially, you bring someone into the higher level. If you start at a lower level, and it takes 1 enrollment to code you to that higher level, the next pro trader you bring in, then you'll receive the 100 and you'll receive the 50s as they go on and do the same thing. So that's key. Now, here's the fast start bonus. This is the other one that's very important. So if you start as a pro trader and you bring 3 pro traders in, boom, it's an instant $570 for you. You have 60 days to do this. And once you've done it, it resets a clock, and you can actually do this 3 separate times. So for simple math, if we rounded this up to $600 times 3, this is a pretty quick $1,800 that you can bring into your business. Now, if you start at the $500 level, you simply need to bring in 1 pro trader first that codes you to this fast start bonus, and then you bring in 3 more, and then you'll still earn the $570. So this is basically a pro trader bonus. Okay, now, and this is why I wanted to mention to you earlier on understanding the mining, how to discuss the mining and the benefit of the mining. So your friends, it's an easy transition from starting at 500 to saying, hey, listen, I'm going to start at $1,000 because I know I'm getting that $1,000 back through mining over the course of the contract anyway, and who knows how much more after that. I'm also going to get those 15,000 3T coins, those tokens, but it's also going to really set me up for a quick fast start, throwing that quick $1,000 to $3,000 into my account that I can then start using through these very viable products, whether it's trading or purchasing ICOs. Okay, so this is the idea. We want to stimulate your business through the rewards plan first. And so the reason that you're going to get this message over and over from me is most people don't share a platform with others simply because they feel a little bit nervous. They feel uncomfortable with the sharing model. And that's very normal. And if you're someone who sits in that seat, don't feel bad for a second, because that's completely the rule. The exception to the rule are the people that don't feel nervous at all sharing. In fact, some of our friends are a little on the annoying side because they never feel nervous sharing, and we probably all think that maybe they share a little bit too much. Maybe they share on Facebook a little bit too much. I'm only joking, half joking. So anyway, if you're someone who feels a little bit awkward about the sharing, you need to understand that that's actually a strength. It's not a weakness. And the reason is this. Your friends know you as someone who typically isn't sharing everything under the sun. So whether you think so or not, when you do open your mouth, a lot of your friends are actually going to pay attention. That's really important. It's also important that you frame this the right way. And so we talked, first of all, what I'll do before I get into that, now I'm starting to get into elevator pitches. So before I do that, I'll finish walking through the rewards plan really quickly for you, maybe 5 minutes we'll do that. And then we'll wrap things up by talking about, okay, how do I actually start sharing this in an effective manner, okay? So we talked about the retail bonus, number one. We talked about the QEB, and now we've talked about the fast start bonus and why getting involved for $9.99 is a significant benefit when it comes to these two bonuses. Binary income, we talked a little bit about binary income in the sense that this is a 1/3, 2/3 binary. What I didn't tell you is the binary can actually pay you a maximum of 93,000. I'm just going to check my Skype in case. There we go. Okay, good. I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Listen, I'm not embarrassed to admit I've done full trainings before where I didn't have the audio working and people could see the slides moving, couldn't hear a word I was saying. So I just wanted to be sure. Okay, so this binary can actually pay you $93,000, well, $93,750 to be specific, almost $100,000 a month, or sorry, a week, almost $100,000 a week in the binary. Now, I personally, if I ever get to that point, it's really not a focus. I don't care if I do or don't. Some of you are going to obsess and want to make sure you cap out at the binary, and you absolutely can do that. And in the coming weeks, we're going to make sure you understand how to break this plan down to get there as quickly as possible. It's also important you understand, though, that this binary rewards plan will actually give you a second pay center or income center and a third one. So you'll notice there where it says $10,000, okay? Earn $10,000 in binary bonuses 3 weeks in a row, boom, second center. Now the small print below though says earn $25,000 3 weeks in a row and you get a third. Now here's the thing. The second one you get is going to go on the stronger side of your business. The third one you get is going to go on the weaker side of your business. So you're going to get a maximum benefit from all three of these positions. Here's the other really cool thing about a binary. If you don't know much about a binary, when you go to start building position 2 and position 3, guess what happens to that volume? It starts rolling up to all the people under your first position that helped you qualify for the second and the third. So I know a lot of you have experience with unilevels. Many of you don't have experience with binaries. So one of the questions that might be bouncing around your head if you're trying to wrap your brain around the math of it is, how can we be sharing all this volume with all these people and the company not break? Okay, a unilevel plan does not have an earning cap. So if you're building, let's say, an infinity wide by 12 generation deep unilevel, it can keep paying and paying and paying and paying and paying because the payout is fixed. Let's say 7% or 10% one gen, 7 another, 3% one, 1% one. Well, those numbers are added together, and that's the real hard cost to the company. Make sense? Where a binary payout is a variable. So a perfectly built binary pays many percentile more than an imperfectly built binary. And one of the benefits in building a binary is there is shared volume. It's a real team building exercise. In fact, a lot of my friends that were in USI that were building it really aggressively, without knowing it, you know what they were doing? They were actually building a binary. They were saying to their friends as carrot, hey, listen, I've got a guy I want to sponsor here. I'm going to give the sponsorship to you. And they were using that as a carrot to pull people into their program. Ironically, that's how you build a binary, except in a unilevel, you're penalized. In a binary, you're not penalized. If I drop someone under someone else, they get that volume and I get that volume at 100%. It doesn't diminish. And that's the difference between the two. How does a binary afford? How can a company afford to use one? There's an income cap on a binary. There's no income cap on a unilevel. What's the income cap on this binary? $93,750 a week. So the income cap is big enough that from my perspective, there's no real cap anyway, because I'm more than happy with 400 G's a month. Now, here's what you need to remember. A, you have multiple positions. But B, look at this, matching bonuses. 4 generations of big matching bonuses based on a $100,000 a week binary. So for those of you who want to make $1 million a month, you're going to get that $1 million a month money is going to come from your matching bonuses. You imagine you bring on 10 or 15 friends who bring on 10 or 15 friends who bring on 10 or 15 friends. You all have healthy binary incomes. Now, all of a sudden, you're starting to get 10% 4 generations deep. That's crazy dollars based on a $100,000 a month binary. So this is the plan actually has the chops to get into $1 million and more every month, if that's something that you want to accomplish. Okay, so we'll go back here again. Now, what I want to touch on for you is this. There is strategies to building these things as efficiently as possible. And one of the early strategies I want you to adopt is getting to Sapphire 3 and building Sapphire 3s. Okay, that's it. So what is a Sapphire 3? Well, obviously, you know, we've got different rank families. We've got a director rank family. We have a Sapphire rank family. We have a Ruby and then a Diamond and then an Elite Diamond family. Okay, so obviously, director is an absolute piece of cake. We don't even need to talk about the director family of ranks because you're going to blast through them without even understanding the rewards plan. Now, when you start getting towards Sapphire 3, it's really important that you start to understand sort of the subtleties, the nuances of the rewards plan, because you can do things tactically that are going to get you there faster, get your friends there faster, and getting them there faster pushes you into the upper Ruby ranks and Diamond ranks, okay? So first of all, sponsor 2 on the left, 2 on the right, okay? And you need to have 1 Director 3 anywhere in your team. Now, the Director 3 does not have to be sponsored by you. It's based on your PGV. If you don't know what the heck that means, it means personal group volume. So technically, you could get all the way to $1 million a month in this platform by sponsoring just a handful of friends, because PGV is not based on sponsorship, it's based on group volume. So if I brought 4 people into my business personally, and I require individuals to hit different ranks within the rewards plan, they don't have to be people I sponsored. My buddy or my friend's friend could have sponsored a rock star from another program and comes and kills it in this. I get all of the benefit for that, and so does my friend, and so does my other friend. Okay? All right, very important to understand. So, Sapphire 3, 2 left, 2 right that I have personally sponsored, and 1 Director 3. What's a Director 3? Have a look, middle of your screen. Director 3 has sponsored 3 people and has a minimum of 650 personal group volume. That's it. That's a Director 3. So that puts me to Sapphire. Now, what do I get when I'm at Sapphire? First of all, when I hit Sapphire 2 and I hit Sapphire 3, the first significant thing that happens is this. Sorry, we got to show you the achievement bonuses. Have a look at the blue box on the left. Right away, I'm going to get one-time bonuses. $250 for hitting Sapphire 2, $500 for hitting Sapphire 3. Those rank achievement bonuses are very important. They're big carrots because getting those Sapphire ranks out of the way, and I know some of you have already done this in your first week, hit Sapphire 2 and Sapphire 3. Well, you know, when you take a brand new person that doesn't have a lot of experience in the home business industry, but loves the whole cryptocurrency product, the trading product and the ICO product, and all of a sudden you're helping them create real success in a rewards plan they've never done before, and they start kicking out $250 bonuses and $500 bonuses and $1,500 bonuses and $5,000 one-time bonuses, that's a big deal. And so Sapphire 2 and 3, getting those one-time bonuses is really important. But here's why it's equally important. Have a look. Sorry, mind my mouse. I'm just moving the screen controls from side to side. So have a look at these Ruby ranks. Take a look, for example, at Ruby 1 can earn in the, now this is binary only. When you see these dollar amounts at the bottom, binary only. All the other bonuses are on top of this, okay? So I can earn $1,875 per week, so a little under 8 G's a month, binary only. So how do I do that? Well, first of all, I need to have 1 Sapphire 3 on either leg. Now, we just talked about how you become a Sapphire 3. Quite easy. Sponsor 2 on my left, 2 on my right, 1 Director 3. That's it. I could help someone become Sapphire 3 in a week, maybe 2 weeks. You could do the same thing. And so once you've done that, if your volume's there, 12,000 in group volume, now you're Ruby. And this is it. So the secret is going to be this. Learn how to become Sapphire 3. Learn how to build Sapphire 3s. That's going to push you through the Rubies, but it's also going to pull them with you. And that, by pulling them with you, is going to push you into the Diamonds. Why? Take a look at the diamond qualifications. 2 ruby, 1 ruby 2, 1 ruby 3 on either side, and that opens things up. Now you're diamond 11,000 maximum per week. All of a sudden, you're looking at 50,000 US dollars a month plus the other bonuses. And when I say other bonuses, what I'm really meaning is the matching bonuses. So you've got rubies that are earning well in the binary, and now you're getting generational matches off them. So you're pushing yourself way beyond $50,000 a month when you've accomplished this. So that's the key. It's really breaking this down into these blocks of Sapphire 3s to moving yourself through this rewards plan. Okay, remember, what's amazing about this is you're going to do a lot of team building. So when you're dropping friends into the left side or the right side of your binary, well, you're not just helping yourself. You're helping your whole organization because that volume flows up to them. How does it afford to do it? There's a cap on every rank. Unilevel doesn't have that. Okay, a binary can pay more quickly in larger amounts because of the cap that protects the rewards plan. Okay, so if you're new to binaries, just know this. They pay really, really well, and most of the world loves them. Okay, so I want to share a couple more of these things with you quickly, and then we want to wrap up by talking about how to really get your business in gear. Okay, lifestyle bonus. It's very, very simple. You earn $3,000 in your, now this is again binary based. So the binary is the anchor to this rewards plan, okay? You earn $3,000 in your binary 3 consecutive 4-week periods. The reason it's written this way is the company calculates things in 4-week periods. So basically 3 months in a row, you've earned $3,000 in your binary. You're going to start qualifying for the lifestyle bonus, which is in essence a 10% match of your income up to an extra $2,000 a month. So it's an extra $2,000 a month bonus to be used for traveling around to build your business or getting into something fun to drive, whatever the case may be. For those of you who are interested, we are going to be Waste Your Money on Expensive Sport Cars Club. Okay, that's what we're going to be. We're not going to call ourselves that because it sounds silly. But for those of you who want to get into some fancy wheels, we will be putting 310 wraps, trading, ICO kind of themed wraps on them, and they can be sort of rolling billboards for you as well. If that sounds a little silly to you, keep in mind when I was building my Usana business, one of my good friends bought a yellow Lamborghini, and we were sitting around, I think we were chatting one time, and he told me how much business that doing that brought, wrapping this yellow Lamborghini. It was mind-blowing to me how many people he brought into his business just driving this thing around. So it's always, that kind of thing has always appealed to me, but I've always been living in foreign countries and haven't had really the opportunity to do so. So I'm going to be a little bit silly and do that myself. If you want to be silly with me, I'd love to not be the only one being silly. Okay, so achievement bonuses. All the way through, this is a total of just a hair under $750,000 one-time bonuses. If you look at the print, the Sapphire 2, Sapphire 3 achievement bonuses are paid out in one crack. The rest of the bonuses are broke up into increments. I'll have a detailed one-pager for you so you can see the fine print of how these are broken up. But $1,500 all the way up to $500,000 as you hit these ranks, okay? So as you hit the rank, you qualify. And as long as you stay at that rank, you can just continue to receive these monthly payments until they're fully paid out to you. And then the global bonus pool, when you start to hit to those kind of elite, the diamond ranks and the crown diamonds, so maybe that black group of ranks and the purple group, then what the company is doing is they're taking 1% of total gross revenue, which is going to be a lot of money, and you'll earn a share when you're in one of those pools. So again, it's that right here. I'll show you again. It's either this black family of ranks or the purple family of ranks. So what I'm going to do now that we talked about the rewards plan a little bit, I want to go back to this product slide for you. We'll just have this as our backdrop for sharing. So we're just going to wrap up. It's 11:51 now. 9 more minutes. We'll be an hour in, so that's a good place for us to stop for today. Okay, so first of all, remember, I want you to think about this as a process. Okay, whatever you do for a living right now, even if what you do is raise your children, you were not an expert at it when you first started. Okay, and so this is a process like anything else. It's just that this process will probably pay you a lot more money than anything else you dedicated some of your time to. So you just need to frame this properly, okay? Don't be hard on yourself. There's no purpose in it. There's no benefit to doing so. We were never experts at anything in the very beginning, okay? Just realize that the management of this project, 3TN, is structuring things in such a way that you're going to have all the time that you need to get good at this stuff, because this is being built with permanence in mind. All right? This is not built to be a cash and dash project that you start looking for another project in 8 months. That's critically important. And that's why things are structured in the way they are. That's why your BTC and your Litecoin and Ethereum are going into your exchange. The company's not managing it for you because that's illegal. And even though the US and Canada are the first to shut those things down, I'll tell you, Australia is right around the corner, and a lot of other companies are starting to follow US securities laws on things like this, okay? So there are other markets right now that think they're safe with these done-for-you programs, but they're not. They're going to get, why? Because the authorities are really looking at creating regulation around Bitcoin now anyway. So there's even more of a spotlight on this than there ever was before. So first of all, congratulations to you, because at a very, very early stage, you've stumbled upon something now that you can build for years and years and years. But more than that, after regulation comes in 12 or 24 or 36 months, and the huge explosive potential of cryptocurrencies has kind of died down through regulation, you're going to be able to take the masses that you've made and you're going to be able to roll those things into commodities. You're going to be able to roll those things into Forex and keep the money that you made during this really critical period so that you don't have to go back to work if you don't want to. All those things are already in place with this project. And we've got that 23-year history, 13% above the S&P 500. That's in their Forex platform. So these guys know what they're doing even more with the long-term safe investments. So you're covered all the way around, okay? Now, how do we share this? Well, the first thing you need to remember is that any kind of network marketing is a loaded term. And whether you love it or whether you hate it or whether you're ambivalent, it triggers a response in virtually everybody. Some people, it triggers a fear response. Okay, so it triggers a fear response in the participant, and it triggers a fear response sometimes in the person listening to the participant. So all that you need to do is just be sensitive to those things. I'm just going to give you the broad basic strokes for this one. We'll get into details later on, and I'll have a PowerPoint built so we can really help you with the science and the psychology of building out one of these platforms, okay? So one of the things that it's really important for you to do is not come over the top. Because it's a loaded term, because it triggers a response, you generally want to follow the mindset. You want to leave them wanting more. So here's the guideline. If they're asking you questions, the approach you're taking is a smart approach. If you find yourself just pitching and pitching and pitching and pitching, and 8 minutes has passed and you're still pitching and they're just staring at you, that's the wrong approach. It's a really broad and simplified way of looking at it, but it's an important thing to understand. So often what I'll do is I'll focus on questions. And you can use very innocuous, harmless questions initially just to initiate conversation. So I might say, for example, so have you been paying attention to Bitcoin? What are your thoughts on Bitcoin? And then from there, I'll ask them if they're involved in any way or if they feel like they've missed the opportunity. So you're just going to start engaging in conversation initially. And this doesn't take hours. This is just literally minutes, seconds, really. But you want to make sure you stop and listen for a response. Don't be loaded with question 2 and loaded with question 3 just waiting to pounce, okay? This is a real dialogue back and forth you want to have. And it needs to be honest because you're going to get a much better response if that's the way you're approaching it than if you're just looking to pitch with a series of questions, okay? So what are your thoughts on Bitcoin? Where do you see it going, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to educate them. So you want to establish yourself as an expert without investing minutes and minutes and minutes doing it, okay? And that's really easy to do. So the first thing you may do is you may listen for that response, and then you're going to say, well, listen, I decided to get involved because I just didn't want to miss out. I can't say for sure what's going to happen. In fact, I don't think anyone can say for sure what's going to happen. But I'll tell you, I've been listening to some pretty credible analysts that think that this is going a lot further, and some really solid reasons why it's going a lot further, and that neither you nor I have missed anything yet. Okay? And in fact, I just got involved using a platform where I don't have to mortgage my house to get into the game. I can use their platform to start with a small amount and turn it into a larger amount, literally by getting a message on my phone a minute a day, 2 minutes a day. Stop. So if you pitched me that way and it sounded like had that kind of upside without a lot of work, I would be asking you questions. Okay, so this is the approach I want you to start practicing and thinking about. And what I'm going to do, we've got 11:58 now. I'll stop now. I've dumped a lot on you, but I'll tell you, in coming Saturdays, we'll break this down and we'll get into the detail a little more so you become an expert at all this stuff. So thanks so much, everyone, for all your time. I greatly appreciate it. Enjoy your weekends, and I look forward to chatting soon.